Good morning again. My name is Nelly Swangani. I see there's some people still coming in. I am the hub head of South African tourism. India is my home, away from home. I'm based out of Mumbai. I am responsible for marketing South Africa in India. It's been a good year for us. This is my second time in Chennai in less than 6 months. I was here a few months ago and we came to meet with the industry, the trade. We met with the Chennai Tourism Board. We met with the tour operators, and we ran some workshops on South Africa. And it's yielded and given us a very high return. If you look at our arrivals, South Africa is 200% up in terms of arrivals from India. And this is good news for us. That means our arrivals have increased. But more important for me to announce is that Chennai is the third largest source market for South Africa. This is good. It means we're getting some good traction out of Chennai. Chennai travelers are really starting to pick up, and we expect an increase in terms of arrivals from Chennai. And I think our partnerships with the various airlines like Ethiopian Airways is really starting to yield good results. Of this increase from Chennai, it's also important to note that 56% of our travelers out of Chennai is MICE. So it means it's very good business for us. It's the corporates, incentives in particular, and the 16% is coming from leisure and from friends visiting relatives. What does this mean for us in 2022? On the arrivals that we have and the targets that we have for 2023, we have to increase our arrivals by 73%. Sounds steep, but I think it's doable. And why do I think it's doable? Because the Indian arrivals are showing us that India has fallen in love with South Africa. It's telling us that South Africa is very palatable for the Indian traveler. And the 35% increase of MICE from setting the 35% target that we have, I think we are being modest. I think that we're going to see more MICE and particularly incentive coming out of this market. We work very well with the various associations in Chennai. And I think this is also helping and contributing to us as South African tourism. So what does this mean for us? It means that we have to sustain the growth. We've moved from recovery. I think the world will always be recovering from COVID, but we're moving now to saying we need to sustain the good growth that we have, but we also have to build on it, because if we don't build, we'll be floating. So key for us is building on what the good growth that we've received from India, but particularly from Chennai. We want to take those numbers from Chennai and want to increase them, because this is surely a good story to tell that Chennai is giving us good numbers. So what we'll do is build and sustain the travel momentum that is coming from Chennai and Greater India. What are the bookings looking like for 2023? Our forward bookings are 59% up. So between January 23 to June 2023, there's an expected increase of 59% travelers coming out of India. This is a good story for us. And you might ask why the take-up for such good numbers, why the good arrivals. I think it's important to also share with you, ladies and gentlemen, that when the chips were down, when the world was closed during COVID, I think we are the only country in the world that did not close its offices or doors to India. We refused to say no Indians. We were the only country that allowed India to travel, because we do not believe that you can ever say to somebody no because of what or who you are and where you come from. So the growth that we are witnessing is telling that there is a very strong relationship between South Africa and India. Also key and important to note is that South Africa and India are celebrating 30 years. We are celebrating 30 years of bilateral relations. And this is very interesting for us because we're using tourism as a catalyst in terms of increasing and enhancing our relationships. When two countries come together and they share humanity, humility, exchange culture, they increase their trade and investment, it is only for the benefit for both countries. So it's a very good year for us, and we are very happy that South African tourism is in Chennai, that South Africa and India are going to increase the relationships. The 59% forward bookings. You might ask, how are we going to make sure and effect the increased arrivals? South African Tourism India has partnered with its airline partner, African airline partner called Ethiopian Airways. We have a fare to South Africa at 42,000 rupees. And on top of the 42,000 rupees, you are going to take away another 15%, which makes the ticket to South Africa 35,000 rupees approximately, and that is including all taxes. The reason we are doing this is to ensure that we make South Africa affordable, we make South Africa accessible, ease of travel, and make sure that the traveler from Chennai, from Greater India or Pan-India, has more money to spend in South Africa on themselves than on getting to South Africa. So what did we do in the last couple of weeks? We've just come out from a fantastic Satay in Greater Noida. This was fantastic for us. We have 35 to 36 exhibitors. If you go upstairs, you'll meet some of the South Africans. We've brought a diverse group of people from DMCs to tour operators to provincial or state tourism boards to experiences, zip lining, hiking trails, glamping, you name it, they are here. And we've also brought in some of our best hotels. As you know, we offer world-class hotels facility. Following that, we then went into Delhi and we hosted an event for the consumers. One of the most important things for us as South African tourism is direct engagement with the consumers. By that we mean bringing South Africa to India. So we brought some chefs from South Africa. We brought some drummers. We collaborated with some chefs from India to showcase South African food. And then we had a closed trade and corporate event, which was fantastic, where we invited over 350 private corporates who came across from all parts of India to Delhi, and we gave them a bit of South Africa through taste, sights and sounds, and then we also engaged and did the same for the trade. The last thing, and I'm sure that we have them in Chennai, is that you'll see our out-of-home advertising, and they're all over Chennai. We've got a campaign called More and More, and you're probably asking, what is the importance of this more and more, or what does it mean? In the last 10 to 15 years, South Africa has only been known as a safari destination. If it is not a safari destination, wildlife destination, it's only known as Cape Town. Everybody will talk to you about Cape Town with the penguins. So one of the things that we have come up and decided to do is showcase more than the safari aspect of it, more than Cape Town, more than Table Mountain. In fact, not just Cape Town, because Cape Town is a fantastic brand for us. So we've gone in and we realized we've got over 3,000 activities in South Africa. The biggest consumer of the 3,000 activities is the Indian traveler. You are the largest consumer of South African adventure. We are the adventure capital for India or in India. So we then gone and we decided that we're going to showcase adventure in all that we do. But more important, we also decided that for us to succeed in India as a country that is highly aspirational, a country that believes that India is great, within India, we decided to use Indian faces on our advertising and showcasing South Africa. If you look at some of the pictures and the visuals, you will see some of the faces of Indian youngsters showcasing and experiencing South Africa. The reason is this, and purely because we believe this, blood is thicker than water. Indians are more convinced when an Indian does something than anybody else, and that's your patriotism that you need to pat yourself on the back for. So we took some Indians from India, two beautiful young souls, particular women, because we also understand the power they have when it's deciding to where to go on a destination, and we're using them across all our out of home. And so we've gone into these states and states like Chennai, we're in Hyderabad, we're in Mumbai, we're in Delhi, we're in Cochin, all these states. Then Pune, we are going to be seeing a lot of South African billboards and out of home. The last thing that we'll also be doing is we'll be going on a road show across India, and we'll be having engagement with the direct engagement with the private sector, which is the corporates, the MICE companies, to showcase South Africa and give them a taste of South Africa. Ladies